the biased kidney formula that cost black lives. They said it was science, they said it was accuracy, but behind the polished charts and hospital walls, an invisible number was deciding who lived and who suffered. It was written in equations, whispered in algorithms, and accepted without question. For decades, this hidden formula quietly distorted medicine, costing black people time, treatment, and, far too often, life itself. This is the story of how one medical equation built on false ideas of race miscalculated the worth of black lives. Welcome to My Blackness 100, the home of black excellence, truth, and power. If you believe knowledge can change our destiny, subscribe now, share this video, comment, and join a community rewriting the story of who we are. 1. The equation that changed everything. The kidneys are the body's natural filters, small miraculous organs that cleanse the blood, balance pressure, and sustain life itself. To assess how well they function, doctors use a measure called GFR, the glomerular filtration rate. It's supposed to be objective science, but for decades it wasn't. Buried inside the GFR calculation was a so-called race correction, a multiplier that automatically adjusted kidney function upward for black patients. The result? On paper, black people appeared to have stronger kidneys. In reality, this meant many were told they were healthy when they were not. It was a silent manipulation dressed as medicine. And it didn't come from evidence. It came from old assumptions about the black body, assumptions forged in the fires of colonial ideology. 2. The colonial shadow behind the science. To understand the roots of this error, we must step back into the early 20th century, a time when Western science was still soaked in racial hierarchy. Researchers claimed black people had more muscle mass, higher bone density, and thicker skin. They said these physical differences explained away disease patterns. They never asked where these claims came from or whether they were true. They weren't based on broad clinical studies or genetics. They were myths, echoes of an era when race was considered biology and oppression disguised itself as research. When modern scientists later built the GFR formula, they inherited this pseudoscientific debris without question. Medicine evolved, technology advanced, but the equation, unchallenged and unquestioned, carried racism into the 21st century. What began as colonial propaganda became a medical standard. 3. One number, two realities. Picture this. Two patients, one black, one white. Both arrive with the same symptoms, the same kidney function, and the same urgency. A doctor enters their data into the GFR calculator. The white patient's result flashes: Stage 3 kidney disease, immediate treatment required. The black patient's result reads: normal function, monitor and review later. Two human beings, one diagnosis, one delay. The only difference is race. That single number, a mathematical illusion, decided who would receive early care and who would wait while their condition worsened. And as they waited, thousands lost precious time, chances at transplant, and, far too often, life itself. This wasn't coincidence, it was design, written in code, normalized through tradition, and enforced by silence. 4. How an equation became a gatekeeper. To qualify for a kidney transplant, patients must have a GFR below 20. But for black patients, the race correction lifted that number artificially, keeping them off the transplant list longer. More waiting, fewer years eligible, fewer chances at survival. This wasn't bias in conversation or conduct, it was bias in data. It didn't speak in slurs, it spoke in decimals and differentials.
racism found a new disguise: statistical, respectable, untouchable. Every time a physician clicked calculate, the system quietly whispered, "They're fine." Every time a life was delayed, the system reaffirmed its confidence in a false equation. And every delay became another thread in the long fabric of medical inequity. 5. The science was always flawed. The medical world often hides behind words like evidence and peer review. But there was never scientific proof that black kidneys function differently by nature. There is no gene, no enzyme, no biological signature that divides one race's filtration from another's. The only difference was assumption, an assumption given the authority of a formula. It persisted not because it was true, but because it was convenient. It allowed institutions to measure efficiency without confronting equity. The truth is simple. When you build science on stereotypes, you build systems that harm. And harm doesn't disappear because it's hidden behind numbers. 6. Lives behind the data. Listen closely and you'll hear the human echo behind every statistic. A man denied a transplant because his GFR appeared too healthy. A woman told she was fine until her kidneys failed. A young patient whose symptoms were dismissed because the formula said she was strong. These people are not theoretical. They lived, they waited, they died. Their suffering was not accidental. It was algorithmic. For every medical advance humanity celebrates, stories like these remind us, progress means nothing if it is not shared equally. Data means nothing if it is not truthful. And medicine means nothing if it cannot see the full humanity of black people. 7. The voices that refused to stay silent. It took courage, moral and intellectual, for a new generation to question the status quo. Medical students, young researchers, and outspoken nephrologists began asking dangerous questions. Why is race in this equation? Where is the evidence? What happens when we remove it? Their challenge sparked a movement. Universities began reviewing their medical algorithms. Hospitals convened panels. Journals published retractions and reflections. For the first time in decades, medicine looked in the mirror and didn't like what it saw. What they discovered was undeniable. The so-called race correction was not science. It was structural racism with a scientific accent. 8. The moment of reckoning. By 2020, major kidney organizations, pressured by data and conscience, announced they would strip race out of the GFR calculation. Hospitals updated software, retrained physicians, and began to unlearn what had been normalized. It was a quiet revolution inside the world of medicine, but for millions of black patients, it meant recognition. Recognition that they had been underestimated, misdiagnosed, and excluded, not by error, but by design. 9. The bigger picture. The story of the GFR isn't only about kidneys. It's a mirror for the entire structure of Western medicine. It shows how quickly bias can hide beneath data, how easily prejudice can be coded into procedure. It reveals that systemic racism doesn't always shout, it sometimes calculates. When a stereotype becomes a metric and a myth becomes policy, entire populations suffer. And when black lives are filtered through flawed equations, excellence, resilience, and dignity are reduced to variables in someone else's formula. This is why the work of empowerment matters, because excellence begins with awareness. When we challenge systems that label us, we reclaim the right to define ourselves, not as subjects of data, but as architects of truth.
Number 10. The future must be accountable. Yes, the race correction is gone from most hospitals today, but its echoes remain. It lives in medical textbooks that still teach outdated ideas. It lives in policies that treat race as biology, not as history. It lives in the collective memory of those who waited too long for justice in a hospital bed. The question now is not just, how did this happen? It is, what else remains hidden? How many more formulas, systems, or assumptions quietly distort the care we receive? True equality in medicine means constant vigilance. It means no more unchecked data, no more silent variables that decide who matters more. It means turning science back into a tool of humanity, not hierarchy. And it means remembering that Black excellence is not only a celebration, it is a responsibility to hold every institution accountable for the truth. Number 11, the final word. The GFR story is not about kidneys alone. It is about vision. It's about the courage to question what's normal, the strength to challenge the language of power, and the will to build systems that see all people clearly. When Black communities demand transparency, when we demand representation in every field, from medicine to mathematics, we are not asking for favor, we are demanding accuracy. Because accuracy saves lives. We stand today on the shoulders of those who questioned the unquestionable. Their defiance reshaped medicine. Their courage restored truth. Their legacy reminds us that Black excellence is not just about achievement, it is about transformation. So the next time you hear the word equation, remember, every formula has a creator, and creators can change what they build. We are that generation, the ones rewriting the code, redefining the narrative, and restoring the balance of justice. This is My Blackness 100, where truth meets power, where knowledge liberates, and where Black excellence is not just spoken, but proven. If this story enlightened you, don't let it fade. Like, share, and subscribe. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let your voice join ours. Because when we rise together in truth, no equation can ever diminish our worth. And remember, knowledge is power, and power is My Blackness 100.